Now this is a video I've been meaning to do for a long time. A long time. This is only One Kenobi. Only one. And about a month ago I did a video which was a top 5 list of my favourite ever vintage collection figures, which was really hard to do. I found that a bit of a challenge because there are so many good cardbacks and figures. It was difficult to nail it down to 5. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do my top 5 hopeful figures in the 2018 vintage collection. Now my channel has been around since June, and ever since the beginning of my channel I have been speculating about the future of the vintage collection. What are they going to have? What could and should they put in it? And now I'm going to do my top 5. But I hope you enjoy it. I would like to hear your top 5 though, because obviously this is just my opinion, this is my choice, but I would like to hear yours. It'd be interesting to hear what you think or what you would like. So let's talk about the vintage collection. I've broken it down into 3 sections of what you can get in the vintage collection, or 3 categories. Category number 1 is a classic card that returned with an updated figure inside. Let's keep this brief, okay? That's part 1 of what you can get in the vintage collection. Part 2 is a brand new card back done in the vintage style from the original trilogy. So it kind of looks like this was in the 80s, but no, because obviously that's a scene from the 80s from a film in the 80s, but it's on a card that was released in between 2010 to 2012. And part 3 is anything from the new saga. So you've got Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Force Awakens now, Rogue One, Clone Wars. Then you had the expanded universe, but that'll be moving on to the Legends line. Then you've got the chance of having, said Clone Wars, haven't I? Rebels or whatever else. So it's anything else that's going on. Dare I say, The Last Jedi. So that's it. So that's the 3 areas you get figures in. My top 5, which I'm going to reveal in this video, 4 of my 5 are from the original trilogy actually. Classic cards I really want to see come back. So I shall go through them now, and I've got one that's a new saga figure. In fact, we'll start with him now. The number 1 of my top 5 I want to see is Count Dooku. Now, in my channel, as I say, I've already covered all of these figures in individual videos, but now I just started wrapping up into a list. Count Dooku, where was he? Why wasn't he released in the last Attack of the Clones wave? And here would be the card back I would like to see. When I think of Count Dooku, I think of the moment when he fires up the red lightsaber, because for a first-time viewer of Attack of the Clones, you don't really know where Dooku stands, because from the title crawl and from the first scene, he's a political idealist, not a murderer. You don't know where he is, but as soon as he fires up that red lightsaber, you think that he ain't one of the good guys. So Count Dooku, I think I'd love that sort of image, or something like that on a card back, you know, something like that where you can see the red saber. But Count Dooku, you know, he's such an important character of the whole saga. Not only episode 2, but episode 3. Count Dooku is definite on my list. Number 2. Well, it would have to be Boba Fett, but not just any Boba Fett. This card back is my favourite Fett card back. I've mentioned it before, as I say. It's obviously round about the Sarlacc pit with the blue sky background. That's what I call this Fett card, the blue sky card. And then obviously, I don't know, any figure, be it a new one or a repack of Fett would be amazing. The thing about repacks is, please don't haul me over the coals. I wouldn't mind a repack, because it's all about, when it comes to card collecting, it's all about not opening it, isn't it, really? I mean, I used to be an opening a figure kind of guy, but now I'm a carded person, so really it's all about the card they release, and hopefully we'll get a modern, minty fresh print off of that card. That's what I want to see, the Fett with the blue background, blue sky background. Next up is one of my favourite ever vintage cards, and it's the AT-AT, or the AT-AT driver. What an amazing card back. Why this wasn't in the last vintage collection, I just don't know. And I'm going to whip out Mr. 5 points of articulation again. This figure was amazing. Though it's only 5 points of articulation and we'd like to see this figure articulated, this is an incredible sculpt by Hasbro in which they nailed it. So if you can get a figure like this on that card back, it would be incredible. Look at that. You can just about see it, can't you? So the AT-AT driver has got to be on my list. As is this guy here, Emperor Palpatine. What an amazing card this is. This is an iconic card from the 80s. And, well, what an important character. He is the ultimate bad guy. Emperor Palpatine, aka Darth Sidious, aka Sheath, isn't it? Palpatine. First name. The thing about Palpatine at the minute is there's a figure going around, speaking of 5 points of articulation, and I'm waiting for it to hit normal stores. Think about Tesco, Sainsbury's and stuff. They only ever have the first wave, and then that's about it. They don't ever bother getting anything else. But at the minute, I would love to get hold of this figure. It's 5 points of articulation Palpatine, and it looks like they've nailed that as well. Perfect. So if they can manage to get that guy on that card back and articulate him up, you're in for a classic figure there as well. So Emperor Palpatine, that card there, oh, bring it back. Absolutely. Needs a modern release. And speaking of modern releases, I think I've done all of them now. I've done the AT-AT driver, Palpatine, Fett, Dooku, and now this guy. Now I've talked about this R2 card lots in my videos, but this needs a modern release. If you count the VOTC as a modern line of vintage cards, all the way up to the vintage collection last time, there's 2 cards from the first 12 that never got a release. One of them is the Jawa, the other one is R2-D2. Now, and the thing about this one is that I've put this on my list, and not the Jawa, is because R2 is obviously a great character, but also the card is just amazing. And there's no other cards as good as that for R2, apart from that one when he's on the barge. Sail barge. Speaking of the sail barge, and speaking of repacking, I wouldn't mind if they repack this figure here, which is a great figure of R2. It's from the sail barge when he's got the drinks rack on his on his body. That, if they repack that, jobs are good, isn't it? It would work really well. But anyway, that's my, these weren't really in any order, but I'd have to say I'd put that at number 1. I've got to see that released in the modern vintage collection. That would be amazing. And that's all I'm going to say. I might keep it brief and not show you any, well, if you want to know any honourable, I'm trying to talk as fast as I can, but if you want to know what any honourable mention, it's not working, let me try again. If you want to know some honourable mentions, I'll show you one now, but anything in the playlist that I've got on my channel, which is the first 20 videos I did on my channel, which were the first 20, sort of my top 20 cards I want to see come back, they would be my honourable mentions. I'm wasting a lot of time telling you that, but anyway, here's one card back that is, I'd have to say, I'd like to see this most of all, only because, as I say, in the vintage collection we've had re-releases of these classic cards here like that, and this is another great vehicle card back, should we say, because on a card you're either going to have a character or a vehicle, and that's a great one, that one. Anyway, that was quite difficult for me to explain myself there. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget, please tell me your top 5 in the comments below, and like and subscribe. Everybody says that, so I'm going to say it too. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.